If you've tried saying positive money thoughts before and it felt like a lie, there's a reason for that. Your brain is way too smart to be tricked by a phrase that doesn't ring true. But what if you didn't have to lie to yourself? What if you could use simple, honest statements that actually lower your stress and make it easier to make good money decisions? That's what we're going to talk about today. So if you're used to saying things like, I'm bad with money, I'm irresponsible every time you make a money mistake, or irresponsible every time you look at your bank account, you're actually training your brain to stay stuck. You're making it physically harder for you to save or plan for the future. But when you get this right, you stop fighting against your own thoughts. You start to feel a sense of control and optimism that, believe it or not, is one of the biggest predictors of how much money you actually end up saving. In this video, I'm going to show you why most money affirmations feel like a lie and a simple bridge technique to actually make them ring true, how to swipe out hoping for a better account for a much more powerful way of thinking, and a daily 30-second habit that can make these new thoughts stick so you can stop overthinking every purchase. Now, to first understand why your past attempts at positive thinking might have failed, I want you to imagine that you're driving through a long, dark tunnel. When you're in that tunnel, the GPS starts glitching. It tells you to turn left immediately. But when you look out the window, you know there's nowhere to go. So you're not going to make that left. You're going to ignore that GPS because your eyes can see the reality of that wall. This is exactly what happens when you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm a millionaire, while you're looking at your $47 checking account balance. Your brain sees the wall of your current reality and it just ignores the signal. It flags this affirmation kind of like junk mail and moves on. So to fix this, we need to give your brain a signal that it actually recognizes as true. That way it can start navigating you towards the life that you actually want. So how do we actually fix that signal? How do we stop our brains from rejecting these thoughts? So the mistake a lot of people make is that they try to jump from one extreme straight to the other. If you're currently thinking, I'm just bad with money, and you try to force yourself into saying things like, I'm a magnet for wealth, or I am wealthy, it's probably going to backfire. It feels like a lie, so your brain just shuts it down. So instead of trying to force a huge lie, you need a thought that can ring true for you right now, but is better than the old one. These are bridge statements. So think about the difference here. Instead of trying to force yourself to believe that you're already wealthy, you could say, I have the ability to change my habits. I am learning how to handle my money better. Or, it is possible for me to build up my savings. Do you feel the difference in how those land? Your brain doesn't have to fight these statements because they're actually happening. You're here, right? So you're learning. And you do have the ability to change. It is possible. The key is to find a statement that you can say out loud with your full chest. If you say it and it feels a little bit like in the back of your mind, it's not going to work well. There's no need to fake it. You just have to be honest about the progress that you're making. When that bridge statement starts to feel second nature, you can then move the needle back a little further. So once you have a statement that you actually can believe, there's still one more tweak that you can make to your language that changes everything. Think about how often you use the word hope when you talk about your finances. I hope I can save more this month. I hope I don't overspend on this trip. I hope I can finally get ahead. The problem with the word hope is that it sounds like you're waiting for something outside of you to happen. It's very passive. It implies that you're not really the one in the driver's seat, like you're not really in control. And when your brain hears the word hope, it stays in a state of uncertainty. That builds anxiety. I want you to swap that word for a much stronger one. Intend. Listen to the difference. I intend to save $500 this month. I intend to stick to my budget for this trip. When you say I intend, you're signaling to your brain that a decision has already been made. You're not wishing for a result, you're planning for one. This is so powerful because it really decreases your stress levels. Your brain stops spinning its wheels, wondering if something's gonna happen, and starts to look for how to make it happen. It moves you out of worry mode and into solution mode. It might feel a little intense at first to use a word that strong, but that's the point. You're telling yourself that you're the one in control here. You're not just a bystander in your own financial life. You're the one calling the shots. Now, you have your bridge statements that sound true to you. You swapped out hoping for intention. There's one final step that makes this habit stick 10 times faster. Now, it's gonna sound a little strange at first, but stick with me. I want you to record yourself saying these statements on your phone and then listen to them. The reason this is so effective is actually pretty simple. We trust our own voice more than anyone else's. You can read or listen to a podcast where someone tells you that you're capable of building wealth. And it might feel good in the moment. But when you hear your own voice saying, I have the ability to change my habits, or I intend to save $500 a month, your brain processes that a little bit differently. It's like you're giving yourself a direct command. It cuts through the noise and self-doubt because deep down, your brain knows that's your voice. It's familiar, it's safe, and that's your 30-second habit. So take your phone, open the voice memo app, and record 3 or 5 of those honest bridge statements. And then just listen to it once a day, maybe while you're brushing your teeth or making coffee. You don't need to spend 20 minutes meditating on it. You're looking for consistency. You're reminding your brain day after day that the GPS signal is back online. And when you do this, something interesting happens. You'll find that when you're out shopping or looking at a bill, that voice, your voice, is the one that pops in your head instead of the old critical one. When you stop calling yourself bad with money, you naturally stop acting like someone who is bad with money. You start to make choices that align with the person you're becoming. This is what happens when you finally get your thoughts and your actions in line. Now, part of getting those thoughts in the right direction is to stop punishing yourself for the past. If you find that even with these affirmations, you still feel a heavy weight of regret every time you swipe your card, you need to address that guilt. Click here to learn how you can release guilt on spending money on yourself. We'll break down why you have earned the right to enjoy your money and how to finally spend with joy. I'll see you over there.